All right, let's go into the eighth house. I love the eighth house.
I know the magic
Yeah,
house,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like the eighth house is a portal, right? It's where you're now merging with another person. You're merging with other people's resources. It's all about like sex, death, transformation. It's like the deepest part of the
Mm-hmm.
chart, you know?
And also Scorpio is the placement for like we hold all our trauma
Hmm.
there. So we can find our childhood trauma and victim mentality and also all the secret because of it's really deep,
Hmm.
deep sign. Um, People who has a heavy Scorpio, they become very investigative.
Hmm.
So when Jupiter sits on 8th house, let's see how luck is expansion, blessing, gift comes from.
Exactly. So when Jupiter goes into eighth house, again, it's bringing luck and expansion to shared resources. So we're talking about like inheritances, right? So after you get married in the seventh house, or you have these contractual agreements in seventh house, now you're merging all of those benefits, all of those resources, all that money. Now you're utilizing other people's money,
Mhm.
and through getting all these investment funds, you might have luck in getting loans, right? Getting, even mortgages,
Mhm.
and even getting, dealing with venture capitalists or dealing with this big money, like investment banking. So that's where all the luck and gift is, right?
And not only that, maybe you can access to government funding very
Mm-hmm.
easily
Yeah.
because of the luck help you to tap into that, let's say scholarship money
Mm-hmm.
or EI and
Yeah.
things like that, because of those are the like pooled resources that is more than one person, like you, right?
Exactly. And so if we look down here at the second house, again, this is the second polarity. So we have the second house, eighth house axis. So here, this is money that I make with my hard-earned income, through my own efforts. But here in this other polar opposite, it's like, how can I bring money down to the second house through other people, through working with others, through dealing with passive income.
Mm-hmm. And also, when people have a Jupiter there, and then when the Jupiter is activating in their life, then those people have a tendency to accessing huge amount of money
Hmm.
through maybe insurance company,
Yeah.
insurance claim, or maybe lottery,
Hmm.
or like yeah, government money or inheritance money as well. And also, as I mentioned, that eighth house is really deep and trauma prompt house. When the Jupiters are there, it have a kind of protection energy, so you can share your like trauma to other people that kind of brings blessing and expansion to your life as well.
Yeah. But there's one thing that I would, definitely watch out for, is that this eighth house, because we're dealing with trauma, we're also dealing with addictions. And
Mm-hmm.
so, given, when you look at the big picture, if there is any negative aspects to this eighth house, then, there could be like too many addictions, right? Too many choices, too many
Mm-hmm.
complications, right?
But
So,
like how I see is
mhm,
even though the person has the addiction, because Jupiter can just manifest as an expansion.
yeah.
If your trauma and Neptune is there, like whatever the configuration is, the sits on. So earlier on in the person's life,
Hmm.
the trauma or delusional side is like enrolling, but Jupiter like has a teacher's energy, right?
Yeah.
So as we getting older, the person is getting like aged with
Hmm.
a more like experience,
Yeah.
and those people have a chance to become a teacher to share their experience and their addiction problem or their all the trauma happened to their life as well.
Yeah, and the reason why I like this eighth house is because, just touching upon this whole transformation theme, is that this is Scorpio's natural house. The early years of Scorpio, we're dealing with protecting yourself, right? So you have all these barriers up. You want to create this security so that you feel safe, right? And so, in the very lowest form of a Scorpio is a scorpion, and it likes to, again, use that the scorpionic sting, using the toxins to protect itself.
Yeah, like it's
Um,
very
yeah,
survivor,
survival
thriving.
instinct,
Yeah.
exactly. But then, once the scorpion goes through this transformation phase and then becomes the eagle to have this higher perspective, and then ultimately the phoenix, which is to be reborn, then you can really, really utilize Jupiter's teaching and inspiring energy to really help other people get through a lot of those negative experiences as well.
And also the Jupiter being there can help you to have a gift as like maybe you can read other people's mind really well, because eighth house is a portal to go to any other houses. And also it's a very, very deep. So you understand deep psyche, emotion, human psychology, things like that. And also a lot of good astrologers are like having like Jupiter or Venus or some kind of planet in the eighth house as well, because eighth house is associated with the astrology. Maybe you might be a paramedic because Scorpio is actually thriving in the surviving kind of situation. So Jupiter being there, and you're really like amazing to organizing or like doing certain things in the like crazy situation. So like some paramedic peoples are having heavy eighth house energy, and maybe Jupiter being there make your excellent service worker.
Yeah, or like crisis management,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Or like like a Bear Grylls, I think that's his name, right? So he go to some kind of extreme wild, and then he just like survive. If there's alligator, he fight with the alligator. If he doesn't have a water, he just like very creatively make water to hydrate himself, and he just surviving in that environment. Like you don't know what's gonna happen next day, next moment. So the Jupiter make you wise. Jupiter also want you to teach. Jupiter it just bring luck and expansion and blessing in that area, so that you can thrive in that eighth house of that kind of situation. Maybe you have a lot of death around you growing up. Maybe like it just like happened really frequently than others. So that because of eighth house is about death, right? Jupiter brings the expansion or frequency of it. And maybe if you have a Jupiter in eighth house, maybe you can take that concept or idea into your business as well, because some people have a really amazing configuration in their birth chart to do some kind of cemetery business and cemetery service as well. So maybe you can make a lot of money, maybe pulling some money together, since eighth house is other people's money sector as well.
Yeah. So even like a mortician would fall into that category, like working in the funeral industry.
And maybe also you can be amazing healer as well, because this is a transformation house, right? So if someone need a transformation, if someone need a, like finding themselves, if someone need to get out of their trauma, maybe you can be great teacher using all the eighth house energy.